All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today we're basically going on a modern day treasure hunt. We're going to dig into how organizations sift through these just mountains of data to find the hidden gems. The stuff that leads to way smarter business decisions.
So, to really get what this all means, let's just put you in the driver's seat for a second. Picture this. You are running a huge online store.
So you've got data coming in on absolutely everything. What people are buying, when they're buying it, where they're from. It's just this endless stream of information, right? A digital mountain of facts that's just sitting there, waiting for someone to figure out what it all means.
And here's the thing. Just looking at it one row at a time, you're not going to see much. The real story, the good stuff, is hidden in the patterns. And those patterns are, well, pretty much impossible to spot just by staring at a spreadsheet. You need a system, a real method, to find them and unlock the story your data is desperately trying to tell you. So, that system for finding the story, that is our treasure map. This first part is all about going from this giant ocean of raw data to that first little glint of gold, that first hint of a real discovery.
Exactly. It's all about automatically searching for those hidden patterns. You're not just standing on the shore staring at the ocean. No way. You're sending out a whole fleet of robotic subs to find the actual treasure chests sitting on the ocean floor.
And that process, that's what we call data mining. You can think of it as the hunt itself. You're the treasure hunter, and you've got this map leading you across this huge sprawling island, which is your company's database.
Now, the key word here is automated. It has to be. No human on Earth could spot these kinds of connections just by scrolling through millions of transactions. It's impossible. You need powerful algorithms to act as your high-tech metal detector, beeping like crazy whenever it finds something valuable buried just under the surface. So, okay, what kind of treasure are we even looking for here? We're on the hunt for answers to really practical, real-world questions. Things like, hey, which products do people almost always buy together? Or what are the warning signs that a customer is about to ditch us and cancel their subscription? See, this is where the hunt starts to get really specific. All right, so your metal detector is going nuts. You dig, and boom, you've hit a treasure chest full of gems. Awesome. But, finding the treasure, that's just step one. Now you got to figure out what it's all actually worth. And that step? That's data analysis. It's kind of like bringing in a master gemologist to look at your haul. They don't just see a pile of shiny rocks. Nope, they're going to examine each and every gem, looking at its cut, its clarity, its color, all to figure out its true value and what it really means. And this is really cool. This whole analysis process is a lot like a detective's investigation. You start with just the basic facts. Okay, what happened? Then you start digging deeper, looking for a motive. All right, but why did it happen? And once you know that, you can start to predict what's going to happen next, and then, finally, create a real plan of action.
Okay, so you've found the treasure. You've figured out it's priceless. Now comes maybe the most important part of all, actually turning that treasure into something useful. And that brings us to our third and final stage, data application. This is where you take those raw gems you found and actually craft them into something incredible, right? Like a stunning piece of jewelry or a museum exhibit everyone wants to see. It's all about turning those insights into real-world action, using what you learned to make much smarter decisions and even automate better processes. And that's pretty much the whole journey right there. You start with data mining to find the patterns in the first place, then you use data analysis to figure out what those patterns actually mean, and finally you have data application, where you use those insights to create real, tangible value for the business. And that right there, that's the ultimate goal. The data isn't just sitting there to be described. It's there to be transformed into actual knowledge that guides your actions and leads to much, much better outcomes. Let's make this super concrete with a few examples. Okay, so your data mining finds a simple pattern. People who buy a laptop almost always buy accessories, like a mouse or a case, within the next 2 weeks. So what's the application? Simple. Automatically recommend those accessories at checkout. Or let's say you run a subscription service. You find out that if a user hasn't logged in for 2 weeks, they're probably going to cancel. So what do? You automatically trigger a retention campaign to win them back. It's simple, it's powerful, and it's literally turning patterns into profit. Okay, so we've spent a lot of time on the how of all this, but what about the why? Why is it so incredibly important for modern companies to get this process right?
Well, the bottom line is we're living in a world where gut feelings and, old assumptions just don't cut it anymore. Making decisions based on actual data isn't just a nice-to-have advantage, it's an absolute necessity for survival and growth.
When you really think about it, mastering this whole process gives your organization a kind of superpower. You literally gain the ability to see patterns that are invisible to the naked eye, to understand these incredibly complex relationships, and even to predict what's coming next with way more accuracy.
And really, that's the ultimate takeaway here. It's about transforming all that dormant information that's just sitting on a server somewhere into a dynamic, living, breathing tool for success. Hey, thanks for joining us on this little data treasure hunt. The final thought I want to leave you with is this. The question isn't if your data has secrets to tell you, because trust me, it does. The only real question is, are you ready to listen?